Hello, 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 and thank you once again for joining me. This is the Urban Surfer Glenn T, and you are listening to another episode of Riding the Wave. For those of you that want to catch me, I can be featured on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spreaker, and Spotify. More venues to come, website coming soon. Reach out to me, rtw.podcast, that is my Facebook, Glenn_Town is my Twitter, and ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com is the way to email me. So how is everybody doing out there today? Hopefully you guys are being productive, you guys are traveling safely, and you guys are changing your mind about some things while listening to Riding the Wave. Just to remind you, these perceptions and opinions are my very own. They are my own realities. My only mission is to change one mind a day in a positive way. If I can do that, wonderful. Otherwise, I will be going back to the drawing board. So how's 2019 been treating you guys so far? Any questions, comments, any suggestions? Just want to jump right into our topic today. Today's topic, I want to talk about attachments. We know we all have them, right? Attachments. It could be to anything, right? It could be to another human being. It could be to something material. It could be to an animal. It could be to an action, an activity, a vice, anything. But attachments. Attachments are totally with us all the time, and we are a part of attachments. We are not in this world by ourselves. We are very interactive. We are on a round globe. We touch people. We touch things in ways that we can't explain sometimes. So just want to talk a little bit about attachments because since we all have them, we know that there are challenges within them. So let's get right into it. Just a quick question for you people. When it comes to attachments, the very first thing that comes to my mind is, are we attached to the right things? A lot of times, we attach ourselves to just any and everything. As the day changes, we lose interest in one thing, we gain interest in other things, and so far with people and other things like that. So attachments is something that changes variously, but are we ultimately attached to the right things? How do you even know? Being attached to the right things, that can be very subjective. I mean, what's right to you might not be right to me and vice versa. But how do we ultimately know as individuals that we are even attached to the right things? I mean, let's give it an acid test. If you are attached to the right things, I mean, is it beneficial? First and foremost. Can you talk about it to people? Sometimes the things that we attach to may be beneficial, right? But we can't tell nobody about it because it may not be the most respectable thing. But beneficial it could be because, you might have some gains that you get from it, and that might be the only thing that you want to get out of it. So it all depends. But are we attached to the right things? It's just, like I said, it's just a test. We should just start off with, is it benefiting us, right? Real quick. Are we getting anything from it? Is it a consistency? This is definitely one of the telltale signs. Another thing is, does it make you happy? The things that you're attached to, do you look forward to them every day? Is it a burden or a blessing? How do you look at it? So we just kind of want to gauge the things that we are attached to. Are they first and foremost even the right things? Yes, they could be beneficial, doesn't make it right. Makes me happy, doesn't make it right. I can do it with consistency. It doesn't make it right. What makes it right is if it's morally sound. Can you tell your mother? Can you brag about it at your job or amongst your colleagues? There's things that you're attached to. Or does it cause you embarrassment every time you think about it? Does it make you question yourself like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? These are real quick telltale signs. We don't have to get all textbook about it, but your body's a good gauge. If you're attached to the right things, it's either going to bring you glory or it's going to bring you grief. So we just got to really start, at least figuring out what is it that I'm attached to right now in my life. Is it a woman? Is it a man? Is it money? Is it job? Is it power? What is it that I'm attached to? Am I attached to my dog? Can I concentrate on my daily activities when I think about my animal? There's a lot of things. Your children. How many people out there are attached to their children? Raise your hands, right? I know I'm one of them. I love my children to death, and you know, that's something that any parent I would think is to be attached to. Just child, right? So I would certainly consider that the right thing. It makes you happy. It's beneficial. It takes your energy up, right? It's something that you can pursue indefinitely. It's something that you see some value in. Benefits you, benefits your baby. This is definitely a telltale sign that that's right. So it's pretty easy to gauge, but I think the question itself is probably more of something for you to ponder on than to answer. So just ask yourself, are you attached to the right things? I mean, you know what you're attached to as an adult. I mean, if you can't go a day or two without doing a certain thing, you're more than likely attached. If you think about a thing or a person all the time, you're attached. So before you get into why you're attached and things of that nature, just ask yourself, is it the right thing in the first place? Because you can save yourself a lot of trouble. Sometimes when you find it in the beginning, you may be able to catch and change something as opposed to being deep down in the road, and it's like turning a boat in the ocean. So just a word of advice, certainly ask yourself, are you attached to the right thing? And for those of you just tuning in, again, this is the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You are listening to Riding the Wave, and we're talking today about attachments. So it just leads me to my next point. Are our attachments healthy? Are they actually consuming us? Are they benefiting us? Is this attachment that we're committing ourselves to the best thing that I could be doing with my time, my energy, my mental space? Let me know. So are our attachments healthy? Let's ask yourself that, right? Like we were saying just a couple of moments ago, you guys have kids. Usually having children is a healthy attachment because it's a normal process. You have children, you love them, you grow an attachment towards them, and you want to do what's best for them all the time. So you're into them, you analyze them, things of that nature, but you can tell if it's healthy because how it affects you, whether it's your everyday, whether it's for the moment, whether it's just long-term altogether. You can pretty much gauge how something's going to affect you, and you can pretty much gauge from that effect if it's healthy. So are your attachments healthy? I know having kids and being attached to them, that's certainly healthy. But what about that attachment to cookies and cream ice cream or something? Or that attachment to that drink that you know you shouldn't be drinking, those kind of fried foods, that attachment to that expensive, extravagant shopping. I mean, there's some attachments that are completely unhealthy without even giving the guesswork to it. But there's some stuff that you can't really tell if it's healthy or not. What if you love somebody a whole bunch, right? You're just really into this person. You love them. They have such great qualities at times, but they also have bad ones. Now, you're all into this person. This person potentially could be into you, potentially may not be into you. That's secondary. But as far as your connection with that person, is that healthy? Is loving this person that makes you feel so good on one day and horribly on the next, is that something that's healthy for you? Certainly something to question. I know many of us aren't doctors and scientists and, people of higher level education all the time. But we do have our own precautions. We do have our own checks and balances as human beings. Instincts. The stuff that, you don't need to read in a book. It's just natural. So you can ask yourself, are your attachment healthy? Is that person that you call every day, that you want to speak to all the time, is it a healthy attachment to them? Or are you just in an anxious mood? Are you attached to that person because you're scared? You might be fearful about something. Hey, if I don't talk to this person today, I may feel that they don't like me like that. I may feel that if I don't talk to them today, that they can easily forget me. Is that healthy? Ask yourself, is that healthy, that connection that you have to that person? That connection that you have to that thing? Does it make you anxious? Or when you connect with this thing, does it give you a sense of dismissiveness? Sometimes people attach themselves to other people and it's not insecure, it's not in a healthy way, you might be looking for your partner to rescue you, save you from something, give you a sense of safety and security, makes you even clingy. I don't find that to be healthy. You know, a lot of times that just comes from being anxious. You know, you're not sure if that person is with you or not. You know, and you may have another person who's just avoiding altogether. You know, any sign of trouble, they shut down. That can be a lack of attachment. They're attached to you in one way because they speak to you or they're with you all the time, but they shut down all the time. You know, that's unhealthy. They may feel that they're so independent that they don't need anybody, and they become defended. They turn off their feelings. They tend not to react. You know, it's just like, I don't want to deal with that. That's unhealthy. You have other people that just keep their feelings at bay, you know. They only come to you when they really need you. You know, if they're feeling some type of anxiety, you know, they may come to you, but they'll also push you away because they're scared to grow that attachment. I mean, these are all connections that could be ultimately unhealthy for us, but we commit to them all the time. How many times do you get worried about if a person's going to be with you if they don't contact you today? Raise your hand. I mean, that's happened to me before. Like, you know, and that's a sense of insecurity. That's being around people that really takes a dump on you, and you walk with it after a while. You know, it happens to everybody. People are human. You start getting worried. Hey, is this person gonna, you know, leave me in the dust, or, you know, are they changing their mind today? It goes by day. It's a sense of insecurity. I don't find that to be healthy, but it happens all too often. All of these different forms of attachments happen all too often. But the ones that don't happen often are the healthy ones, where you can live that life of security and you can still have an individual sense and you can still be your own person, and it won't harm your mate. It won't harm that person that's looking at you a certain way. You know, your significant other will still feel comfortable even though you're leading your own independent lifestyles and things like that. There won't be any sense of abandonment and things of this nature. So, you know, there are approaches where we can make things a little more healthy for us mentally. But a lot of times we do find that our attachments are a little bit skewed, a little bit unhealthy. What do you think causes these things? I'd like to hear any comments, suggestions. What do you think causes these unhealthy attachments? Is it the overuse of telephones, you know, the cell phones? Is it the social media, the individuality nowadays? You know, people don't like to discuss things. Do you feel people are just jaded now? Hey, man, I've been through this so much, I don't even want to talk about it no more. Whatever. Dismissive. But what do you truly think it is that prevents a person from having healthy attachments? Or maybe your attachments that you have are completely healthy and you're just one of the fortunate ones. If they are, let us know how you're doing it. Let us know the tricks of the trade, because there's plenty of people out here that are looking for solutions. Again, if you're trying to reach me, my Facebook is rtw.podcast. My Twitter is Glenn_town. And my Gmail is ridingthewave.podcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from people, because a lot of times, you know, there's more questions than there are answers. That's why a lot of these podcasts and different articles you find and videos, these are all helpful ways of reaching people, because a lot of times those questions go unanswered and then you just bump into it one day. Hopefully you guys will bump into me one day and just kind of hear some of these answers. Again, these perceptions are my own. These are my own opinions. These are my own realities. My mission is only to change one mind a day, as you know, in a positive way only. If I can do it, wonderful. If not, I'm definitely going back to the drawing board and creating a new way. I love you guys. So, of course, it's always going to be on my agenda. But moving right into it, we might have identified some of these attachments that we have. We may even realize we're not even attached to the right things. You know, the things that we're attached to bring us grief, bring us hardships, anxieties. Or we might just be on the right track. We might be attached to the things that bring us the joy, God's word and helping people out and being human. So let me ask you, what are some things that can actually help you form these healthy attachments? What are some ways that we can break the mold of these jaded perceptions, these anxious and dismissive and fearful attachments that we gain with people? What can help thwart that? First things first, look within. Start making a conscious assessment of what's bothering you. What behaviors triggers those anxieties, that dismissiveness, those fears? Are you afraid to lose something? Are you afraid to give control to another person? Are you afraid to be independent? But really ask yourself, take an assessment. What is it that's troubling me with my attachments? Why do I have a negative outlook on my attachments? Why am I anxious about them? Am I attached to the right things? Just make a self-assessment. That is the very first step. If you gotta write it down, write it down. If you gotta verbalize it and record your voice, do that. But you gotta find out. You have to find out. Find out what's actually causing you this grief. If so, find out if you're attached to the right things, simply. Am I just chasing the money, or am I just chasing the girls with the nice bodies, or the guys with the muscles? Or, what is it that you're attaching yourself to? Are you missing something in your life? Are you trying to complete that void that you didn't have as a child, and you're looking for it in human after human after human? Stop yourself. Take that assessment. We're grown. Be 100% honest with yourself. You don't even have to share the conversation with anybody, but it's very important for you to make that assessment. That's the first step. Secondly, be around people that are actually confident, that are actually secure, that are into themselves in a healthy way and can help and reach out to others. Like a mentor. Some people need that. People have it in jobs. People have it in life. Sometimes you need that example. Read about somebody that's been through some hardships and pulled themselves out of it. What do people attach themselves to that are into self-improvement all the time? Are they attached to a higher power? Are they just attached to self-improvement itself? But really take an assessment and start to take action. There are plenty of examples out here that you can use just to kind of start you on the right track, give you that self-confidence back, give you that security, give you that little boost in your ego that you need to let people go and stop being so clingy and questioning everything. What are some healthy attachments? Again, being attached to the Lord, being attached to God. That's a very healthy attachment. Being attached to your children. Being attached to your family. What about being attached to helping people in society? Being attached to being a respectful and honorable person. I find all these things healthy attachments. Attach yourself to being truthful. So instead of us really taking this look into life and really riding these waves and these choppy waters, let's kind of just maneuver our surfboard to the smoother, more even waters to where we can kind of get our way back to shore and not be so stressed out. Life is so much easier when you don't always feel like you're falling off the surfboard. Get a grip. Start doing things that are healthier for your mind. Attach yourself to the things that's going to matter. Remember, this life is temporary. We live a few years and we're gone, but forever is certainly forever. Keep that in mind when you start to build these attachments to these things that are temporary, that'll go away. Stop worrying about pleasing people so often. Worry more about yourself, but in a healthy way. Again, you've been listening to the Urban Surfer Glenn T. You have been riding the wave. I do want to thank you again for all of your support, all your comments, and just for listening and tuning in. Hopefully I am changing those minds. But in the meantime, get to where you're going safely, be productive, be smooth, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you again.